Hippocrates, the ancient Greek physician, said, "Walking is man's best medicine." And this is a belief Edward L. Green practices in his daily life.
I'm originally from the Bahamas, moved here in 1987, and been in the banking business 15 years in the Bahamas, then came over here and been in banking here 29 years. I live in Sebring, Florida, and about a year and a half ago we went full-time RV living, and I was able to retire my wife to do that. We love camping. I do some hunting, but I'm not really an avid hunter. We do a big family camp at Thanksgiving, and I usually hunt then, deer, hogs, things like that. And other than that, I just love to camp and do a little bit of hiking or some walking. And just love the outdoors.
But about 3 years ago, pain stopped him from walking.
It was fairly severe. It wasn't crippling, but it was fairly severe, more than I wanted to bear during the day. It started hindering me. I used to walk about 2.5 miles a day, and started hindering that to where I had no desire to continue walking because of the pain, and it would bother me at work as well, to where I would constantly be on pain pills. So had some degree of pain, probably in the area, sometimes 7 or 8, I would say, and it was affecting my lower back, coming down my leg on the right side at that point.
When other facilities failed to provide him with a solution to his pain, Ed discovered the Bonati Spine Institute and their targeted Bonati Spine Procedures.
My family doctor referred me to a neurologist up in Winter Haven, and they basically told me, after a lot of tests and everything, that I should go on. If it gets worse, come back and see them, that there was nothing they can do for me. Well, after the pain continuing, I said, I'm not going to live the rest of my life like this. And a coworker of mine heard about a seminar that Bonati was putting on over in St. Pete. So I drove up there and sat in on that seminar, and very impressed with what I heard and the work that they do, and got to interview afterwards with one of the surgeons. I can't remember his name now. So then went up and made an appointment, and at that point, after taking some new MRIs, he walked in the room and was able to point out to me where my pain is based on what he saw on the MRI. Totally impressed me, said, yes, we can help you. That's the words I was waiting to hear, because I didn't want to continue with the pain.
In the summer of 2014, Ed began his lower back procedures. He recalls the experience with conscious IV sedation, a method utilized in the Bonati Spine Procedures to ensure the main source of pain is eliminated by keeping the surgeon in communication with the patient.
I remember in some of the lower back surgeries, trying to recreate the area of pain to see whether I still had it or not. It was a neat experience because you knew that they were hitting the right spot by you being alert to what they were doing. It was a blessing, because that was the whole purpose of going there, and I felt content that they had gotten the issue taken care of and that I can go on with life.
Recovery time after the Bonati Spine Procedures is significantly reduced compared to alternative surgeries.
I had a friend that had open back surgery, we call it, with a long cut, and he was out for 3 weeks. I had my surgery one day. Usually I was out of Bonati by about 12, 1 o'clock, something like that. Went straight out and had lunch with my wife. Went to the hotel, rested that night. And that normally, it always worked out best for me if I did the surgery on Thursday, because then I got home Friday afternoon, and by Monday I was working from the house. Generally, once I got back to work, I took it easy for the first few days. Following that, then life just got back to normal more and more every day. Very quick recovery, and I could pretty quickly get on with life.
Because of the targeted tools and techniques employed by Bonati surgeons, pain is eliminated in a more efficient and permanent manner. So when Ed began noticing new pain in his upper back a couple years later, he did not hesitate to return to the Bonati Spine Institute in 2016 to resolve those issues quickly.
The pain has been resolved for each of the areas that I had the surgery on, and I have no more tingling or pain down my legs. or my arms, because that was an interesting case with my upper back, because I was having issues with my hand and my finger freezing up and everything, and only to find out, no, it's not carpal tunnel. So I went back and saw Dr. Bonati, and he took the MRI and found out that yes, it was getting worse up in my upper back. And so we had the surgery, and that has now taken care of that situation as well. From the second time I walked in, Paul called me by my name. You know, that makes you feel at home. Then the ladies in the clinic, they knew me by then, and they were calling me by my name. So it was like going back home. They were able to take good care of me. And so of course I gained confidence then in the work that was being done, because I felt like I was in good hands, knowing that they had my best interest at heart. And it was an outstanding experience that I've shared with many people, especially those having back trouble, suggesting that they at least go and get a second opinion from there because of how well I was treated. And having done the treatment and now being able to return back to normal life without pain, I'm extremely happy about that, and would recommend it to anybody.
Since his final procedure, Ed is back to walking, enjoying the life outdoors, and sharing his experience with anyone who asks.
The question came up this week from one of my coworkers who's having surgery soon. And he said, well, the main thing I'm afraid of is paralysis and them hitting the spine. I said, well, for some reason I never felt that fear in the Bonati doctors, because it just seemed like they had the right equipment to do it the right way, and never had that fear of them. I never had that fear of walking out of there crippled or paralyzed in any way. So I share my confidence with them based on the experiences that I had. I would recommend the Bonati Spine Institute to anyone that is having issues with their back, or if they're not sure it's their back, if they're having pain in their legs or their arms. Based on the experience that I had there with them, I think I can recommend the Institute to anyone, knowing that they'll be taken care of by experts in the field, and that have their best interest at heart in taking care of the issue. I was totally impressed in the quality of care that I got, and just would recommend it to anyone.